Well, welcome to our Planning Commission meeting for April 4th. Believe it or not, it's April. We've all been waiting for the spring, even though we kind of had a spring-like winter, didn't we? Well, our first item was to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and I've asked Commissioner Tanner to do that. If you'll please stand.
Please repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We appreciate you all being here today. Our first item on the agenda is our approval of meeting minutes from March 7th, 2018. Those of you that were here, I think Commissioner Tanner was not here, and Commissioner Tagg, who's also not here tonight, was not there. So any comments or questions about the meeting minutes from that night? And if you have any questions, Kimberly can't answer them because she wasn't here either. I did read through them. I didn't see anything that looked askew to me.
I would make a motion to approve the minutes of, that was March 7th.
Okay, we got a motion from Commissioner Mendenhall. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Davis. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Our next item, and really only item on the agenda, is the Parkway Professional Plaza. Mr. Anderson, please.
Thank you. The proposal that's before you tonight is simply a zone change. Change the zoning of the subject property from rural residential to commercial 2. The property that we're talking about is located on the corner of State Road 51. I've heard that called the old Springville Highway 2, and Spanish Fork Parkway, which abuts the property on its northern side. Spanish Fork City's been working with the applicant for just about 2 years now relative to his plans to develop the subject property. Actually, the city owns a portion of the land that's included in the proposed zone change tonight, and we anticipate working out a contract for the applicant to purchase the city's property so that it would be included in this development. The request to change the zoning to commercial 2 is consistent with the general plan designation. It's mixed use, and the Development Review Committee has reviewed the proposal and recommends that it be approved. I'll mention this as well, just relative to the mixed use designation. The applicant also is working on, and in my mind, they're really one and the same, but additional development that goes beyond what's included in the zone change tonight, which we would anticipate would be residential, probably to accommodate a fairly high density residential project, which from my perspective fits very, very well at this particular location. In fact, we haven't really been able, I think, to find very many locations in the city where, for all of the different things that come into play, all the different issues that I think make sense to consider when we talk about developing apartments or that sort of a thing, that are as good of a fit as the property that's just south of the area that's included in the proposed zone change. So we're kind of excited about seeing that here in future months, but for now, we're just talking about changing the zoning to commercial 2. The applicant has given us a concept plan that we've looked at to develop professional office buildings on the subject property, but we haven't yet seen a formal site plan proposal for this property that'll come down the road.
Okay, any questions for staff? This is a public hearing, so I'd entertain a motion to move into public hearing then.
Make a motion to move into public hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion from Commissioner Tanner and a second from Commissioner Euler. All in favor say aye. Aye. This is the chance for any of you in the audience that would like to come and address the commission on this proposal for the zone change from a rural residential to a commercial 2 zone. Seeing none, then I'd entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. So Commissioner Euler and Commissioner Tanner, any questions or comments from the Planning Commission about this proposal?
Just to the west of that, there's some buildings going up now, maybe they're even complete by now. Does it abut that? Or is it further west, do you know?
It's quite a bit further west. In
Quite a
fact,
bit?
Spanish Fork Parkway through here was constructed on landfill. So debris was removed for the right-of-way of the road and relocated just to the south of where the road is.
Okay.
So there won't be any construction of any types of structures and that sort of a thing on the property that's immediately west of what we're talking about tonight, in my opinion.
I was thinking it was
Right there.
probably this
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Is that what we're talking?
No, we're talking,
We're up there.
Okay, my bad. Okay.
Didn't we at one point approve a subdivision for, let's see if I can get that property there?
Huh?
That's okay.
Yeah, originally it was connected to the developments happening right north of the subject property on the other side of Spanish Fork Parkway. It was all the Meadow Creek Ridge development, and still, in one sense, is. Originally, it was all planned to be single-family detached homes, and since we've revised the approval, so we expect that this likely will be townhomes over here, while all of this will continue to develop with single-family homes.
so I do have a question. So looking at the property that they own, the property boundary, yeah, there you go. So the portion that we're looking at to change to commercial is just kind of this little curve. Why aren't we changing the entire property boundary to commercial too?
We don't expect it to be used commercially. We expect the remaining parts of the involved parcels to be zoned and developed residentially. And
So
We'd be-
the applicant will be required to consolidate the properties and do a new plat for this development, correct?
exactly.
That'll separate it off from the remaining properties, and then once the southern portion of it gets developed, it'll be its own plat as well, correct?
Exactly, yeah. So
It'll just
still
be a
quite a few
cleanup.
different steps to go through for the applicant, both in terms of acquiring properties and assembling them for development, getting city approvals in place and those sorts of things. It's going to take some time, but for example, I think I'd be really, really hesitant to suggest that we change the zoning on the property for the residential side and say, sure, you can develop 18 units to the acre and we'll give you that right with zoning until we have all of the I's dotted and T's crossed with really, really defined and clear development plans for that property. That's, I think, the biggest reason that tonight we're only talking about the commercial zoning. Some of the concerns that I think we have about the design of a project and how it's going to work in terms of layout and those sorts of things, they're a lot less significant than they're going to be with the city's first apartment project. So that's why you're seeing it sort of in pieces.
So this is pretty unusual, actually, for us to change the zoning without seeing that whole package.
We've done it a few times for commercial. We've never done it that I can remember for a residential project.
I have a question about the area right along Spanish Fork Parkway. It appears that the road either cut down a little deeper in that area to get desired elevation, or there's been some material that's been hauled there. Seems to be quite a steep grade off from the road up onto the property. Is the plan, it looked like all of the access was coming from the parkway, and so is the plan to cut that down and make it about the same height as the road, or to
Street view?
come on up to it?
I think you're probably a little bit further west.
You want to come up and...
There's a really
Yeah.
steep grade here,
Yeah, on
So on this side is-
property, it's pretty even with the road.
and that's because of the landfill.
Okay.
Drive from the
Debris literally
It's
was,
open highway from 50 to 51. Yeah, that looks okay.
I was thinking it was, and I am mistaken, I was thinking it was closer to the area where the road goes into the residential development that started, but obviously it's not.
I think it's fairly flat
It
all the way
is.
to the western
If
boundary.
anything, it's a little bit low on the west end, actually.
Okay.
But you're certainly right. Once you hit the western boundary of what we're talking about, we couldn't put a driveway
Right.
in there. That'd be tough. You have to do some cutting.
So Chris, you came and talked to us, with this same concept, the same that you had over at Springville. Is that about what you're following?
Yeah, it's laid out for 5 of those.
Sir, would
very
you
same
mind
buildings.
coming up to the microphone and introduce yourself?
Yeah, Chris Child. Yeah, we did a project over in Springville called South Valley Professional Plaza. That's what Dr. Warren and Dr. Chamberlain and Valley obstetricians are all in those buildings. It's near the new Smiths in Springville. We put those buildings in, and so we would be doing different colors and that type of thing, but the footprint of the buildings is the same. We have 2 of the buildings over there. We'd be planning for 5 of the buildings over here. They're 18,000 square foot each. And then I'm also working with a preschool that wants a little spot on the east end. And so hopefully that's going to come together as well. So right now we'd have a little preschool. Yeah, that's not quite there. That's where the assisted living or supported living.
Down here?
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to be in a couple of years. So.
We better make it nice.
Yeah, so those buildings you can see there are that's the style of building. They've got a steep pitched roof. They're 2 stories. Each building has about 5 professionals in it. And then we put in a nice fountain between the 2 buildings. So the buildings would be in pairs for the most part, very similar to this with the, we have a fountain there in front. And anyway, it's worked out really good. Every one of the businesses that are in there, have had significant improvements, to their, the amount of clientele that they're seeing. The buildings are all growing well, and everybody over there is really happy. We're just hoping to do the same thing with the hospital coming in. We think there's going to be a big demand, and I tell Dave I think this is going to be my last hurrah. I'll be on this for the next 5 to 7 years probably, and so anyway, I think we'll make it something you're proud of.
Yeah, I like it.
Did you buy your plane back?
No, I went in partners with some other guys, so I'm still doing a lot of flying, but yeah, that was a little pricey to own my own airplane, but anyway.
Worth it though, wasn't it?
I loved it, yeah. Anyway, we're excited. It's gonna, we would really like to break ground on the first building. I'm hoping around June, July this year, if everything goes well, we'll get our first building under construction there. And then we anticipate going through the approvals and stuff on the residential portion of the project. I would anticipate that we would start that. We'll spend this winter getting all that worked out. Or at least by the end of the year, I'd really like to have that all worked out. I've got a rough draft here that we're still working on, but I'll be talking to you about it here pretty soon. And then we would want to start in on that next spring. No, well, yeah, about a year from right now would be the best case scenario. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Any other questions for staff or the developer? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion. There are 4 findings that staff has provided us to help us with this recommendation. That it's consistent with the mixed-use general plan designation, that it will not generate any adverse impacts on surrounding properties or neighborhoods, excuse me, that there's a significant and growing need for professional office in the community, and that the intersection of the 2 main thoroughfares is ideal to accommodate any traffic that would be generated when the property is developed. So those are the findings that the staff based their recommendation on for us to recommend approval of the zone change.
I'll make a motion, Commissioner, that we recommend adopting the zone change for the Parkway Professional Plaza from a RR zone to a C2 with also the 4 items that was recommended by staff. The findings.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Tanner and a second by Commissioner Davis. Any further conversation or clarification? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Looking forward to it. So,
Nice, thanks.
at this point, that concludes our Planning Commission meeting for the night. It's a world record time, I think. And we're going to adjourn to a work session for the Planning Commission to talk about some things. So, thank you for coming.